sweet to get ready for all the other neutral court games, and having guys have yet to win 2 in a row on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we're pushing towards, and it's not going to be easy. You got a Washington team that's playing well. They're streaking. They've won 2 in a row and lopsided wins. Only one team's gone in there and won this year, and that was Cal. And then you got Washington State been with their senior day and all that goes into those festivities. So it's not an easy trip, and probably outside of Arizona there hadn't been very many sweeps this year. So we wish we could have got some. We got one more opportunity to play well and try to get some wins here at the end of the regular season before we get into postseason play. And as I said the other night, just get ourselves playing well and doing a lot of good things going into postseason.
In your past experience, how much is momentum worth going into the postseason?
That varies. I think each team, each year, that's why I think they refer to it as March Madness, because there's teams every year that's playing well going into the tournament, and then they continue to play well. And then you got the flip-flop of it. That you kind of limp into the tournament, you get on a run, and you play well. So it's all about when you get to postseason, especially, and I think even in our Pac-12 tournament, matchups. There are certain teams that we match up better with, and I'm sure teams are saying the same thing about us. That there are different matchups that just bode well for you. So whether you're talking Pac-12 tournament or NCAA tournament, that has a lot to do with it.
Is there any specific area that you want to see improvement, especially in this last few weeks before the tournament?
Well, offensively, just decision-making and not getting in a hurry. That's something that when we get in trouble offensively, we get in a hurry and rush things. And that's not just shots. That's the whole process of good offensive basketball. The thing that's been really impressive with this team all year is averaging 10 turnovers a game. It's a goal of ours. It's one of the goals is to have 10 turnovers in a game or fewer. And that's not easy to do that as an average. So they've really done a good job with the assist-turnover ratio all year long. So it's really the decision-making of the timing of a shot, the ebb and flow of the game. A team's on a 6-0 run, we shouldn't be thinking about no pass, one pass, shoot. So it's those timing things of gameplay that I want the guys to improve here late in the year on. And then defensively, just get consistent. Get really consistent with the principles that we're 95 practices in now. Let's get consistent in what we're doing. We saw that, I thought, in the Oregon game. We saw that for pieces of the Oregon State game, but not as consistent as what was in the Oregon game. And I'd like to just get a little bit more consistent defensively.
At this point in the season, do you have to manage minutes a little differently just to make sure guys are okay when you have to play games back-to-back?
Yeah, I think going into next week, that'll be a concern. This week, it's really not as big an issue. We're playing 2 games. We're playing at 6 o'clock on Thursday and 8 o'clock on Saturday. So, I don't think that's as big a concern. Once you get into, the potential of playing 3 games in 3 days, now the trick to that is, though, that once you get to postseason, it's a one-and-done deal. You lose, you're out. So it's not about saving anything. It's just about managing it. And I do think what that Oregon game did, it allowed us we got to see Noah play. And, we're very confident there. Juana's a little bit under the weather today, so hopefully he'll be back and be ready for this road trip. But we've got confident that we can go 9-10 deep into our bench.
How much of a difference has Williams Goss made, especially in this last month? Seems like he's kind of picked up his game for them.
Yeah, he's playing really well right now. He's in a 4 or 5 game stretch here that's been pretty impressive. And Andrews the same way. I think Andrews is going through a stretch of averaging almost 16 and 8 in this stretch. So those 2 guards complementing Wilcox, who's as good as it gets. Those 3 guards are a big concern, and then Blackwell is somebody inside that demands a lot of attention just because of what he does in the low post. So this is another team very similar to Oregon State in that they have an inside-outside threat and multiple threats. So it stretches your defense. You're not going to be able to just play the perimeter or just play the post. You've got to defend both areas, and I think that's what's made them particularly dangerous here late in the season.
Where does Williams Goss rank among the conference's other freshmen?
Oh, that's hard. He's having a very good year. He started, for Washington the whole year and gotten right around probably 30-plus minutes and does a nice job of running their team. I think he was somebody that I got to follow a lot out of high school and in his years at Findlay Prep. So very, very smart player, does a really good job offensively of knowing right play, wrong play type of things. And of lately, he started to shoot the ball better. And if that happens, it takes his whole game to another level.
How much have David and Travis meant to this team, especially this year?
You know what? They've been tremendous. Obviously, I've only had them and the rest of the team for a year, but I'm just very, very thankful for their efforts, and throw Aubrey in there as well. And I know Aubrey hadn't played in games, but the Ware twins they've been very consistent. You know, they come to work every day. They work extremely hard. They're graduates. They've done a job off the floor, in the classroom, and been very consistent here. And we wanted to come and play up-tempo right away. And having two forwards like that in the lineup and playing a lot has enabled us to kind of get our program going the way we want to early, because they can run the floor so well, both offensively and defensively. So I've really appreciated their efforts this year.
What was your pitch to them, or did you have to pitch them at all about staying for this last year? Because they could have graduated and then left. And
just all of them. You know, we spent the better part of the first 6-8 weeks and recruiting every player here. You know, everybody was wanting to know where we were at and those type of things. We're right here. We were recruiting these guys so that this first season was going to be successful, and not one that was unsuccessful or we were under 500 or not playing well. We wanted to make sure that we had a chance to be really successful in year one, and for that to happen, there were only 6 of them returning, and we needed those 6 to be on board and build that trust, and we did that about the first 6 weeks on the job. And then it went to Noah and to Zach and to Bryce and to Juana. When they got here in June, they ended up rounding the scholarship players out to 10. So those 10 guys are pretty important before we ever start thinking about classes moving forward.
As a coach in his first year here, how important was it to get Travis and David, especially them being, you know, seniors, and they kind of have that experience? Does it help to have those guys?
Oh yeah. If we didn't have the Wares, we'd be very small. I don't know how we would play inside at all, and you'd be very, very inexperienced. So obviously Travis and David have been instrumental in our success this year, and in laying a foundation, at least for our program here in year one. They're helping lay a very good foundation of kind of what we want in a student athlete, again, of what they've done on the floor, off the floor, and in the classroom.